All right, so we're going to talk about averages in Google Sheets. Averages you obtain them with the function command. The function command basically just gives you formulas, and really why this is helpful is, now you don't have to hand calculate all these averages. So we're going to do averages with grades. So first task is to create a table of the following data. We got Bill, Sandy, Riley, Patty, Ryan. There's their averages for the 4 quarters. We want to find out their final grade. So I already made the table. I got my students' names here. The quarters go here. Here's their average. I already have the numbers typed in. So as you can see, after the 4, I wrote the word AVG. That stands for average. I also did it under Ryan in case I want to do the quarters as well. Okay. So to obtain the average function, you first need to have your data typed in. If your data is not typed in, you will not be able to use the average function. So now, before I show you this little trick, describe to me how you would find the average of these numbers if this was on paper. So how would you find the average? All right, so how you'd find the average. What the average is, remember, it's known as the mean. It's where you add the numbers up and divide by the total. So for Bill, you would add 82 plus 90 plus 82 plus 83. Divide them by how many numbers are there, which is 4. We don't have to do any of that work in Google Sheets, which is very nice. What you have to do, so you see this little guy over here, the little E? It's the functions button. The function button allows you to access all the functions that are inserted into Google Sheets, and there are many of them, as you can see. Now, Google Sheets puts the top 5 right here that most people use, but again, look, there's all these in here, even can scroll down to more. So we want average. So first I need to do is make sure I want Bill's average. So I got to be clicked in the cell that meets where Bill is and the average is, which is here. Click the word average. What comes up is an equal sign with a parentheses, and my cursor's in the parentheses. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my cursor. I'm going to click on the first number that I want, 82. I'm going to click and drag all the way over to my other number, which was an 83. So I have 82, 90, 82, and 83 all highlighted. Now, how I obtain the student average is by hitting the enter button, and the average goes in right away. All right. Okay. So let me go over how to do that once more. So I want Sandy's average now. Okay. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. Go over to the functions button, hit average. Now this time I want all Sandy's numbers, so I click and drag all the way over, hit enter, and I have Sandy's average. I'm going to do the same thing for Riley now. Drag over, hit enter. All right, so you might say, oh, that's not too bad. I have 5 people here. That won't take too long. But imagine having, I don't know, how many students do I have on a typical year? At least 80. That would be a long process, right? To click and drag all the way. So I'm going to show you a shortcut if you want the same function. So this only works if you want the same thing to happen for all the cells under here. So I want average for all these cells. So you see how there's this little blue box here? I'm going to click that box, and I'm going to drag that down. And what it does is it puts the average formula into all of those numbers. So now I have everyone's average right away. So from this, of course, we can see what their average is for the year. So we got 84.25, 76.75, 67.75, 63.75, and 89. But what if I don't like these 0.5s because your grades don't have that? Now, this is just something I'm going to teach you right now. It is not needed later on, but you can use it if you want. So you see these little tools up here? It's a decimal increase and decrease. What it does is rounds the numbers for you. So I want to get rid of decimals, so I'm going to decrease. So I'm going to hit it once, hit it twice, and now my decimals are gone, and I just have the averages. All right, I'm going to calculate the averages for each quarter now, though, for these students. So to obtain this average down here, I would add all these up, divide by 5, but I don't need to do that because I have the functions button. So I hit average, get all these averages because I want quarter one only, hit enter. Okay. So now describe to me how you would obtain the average for quarter 2, 3, and 4. And there's different ways to do that. Just type it in to me. All right, so one of the things you could do is, again, use the average key. But what I like to do, click and drag this over. And there we go. Got my averages for each quarter now. Okay, let's just make sure I answered them all. This is determine the average for each student that I did. From this, I could ask you different questions like how many students passed, how many failed, what was the best quarter, a bunch of different things I could ask with this as follow-up questions to say, can you interpret this data? But that is using the averages. Remember, you have this video again, you can go back and watch once you start trying to complete your activity later for today.